Hello, folks. Welcome to another episode of Listen in 3D. We are on episode number 32. I'm your boy, Justin, aka Too Tall for You Fool.
And I'm Netta, aka WondrousNet.
And together we're both Team 3D, the host of Listen in 3D, where we discuss, dissect, and debate the music and albums in the world of hip hop and other genres. Like what you're seeing, do us a favor, like this video. Comment, as we do appreciate any kind of feedback in terms of just how we're doing it on the show and all that stuff. Um, Subscribe. That will help us out a lot. Subscribe. Share the video around. And if you do subscribe, help us out one step further. Click on that notification bell. That way you get notifications when all our videos go live. We do value your time also. So do us a favor. If you don't have time to watch one of our 30 to 40-minute episodes, watch one of our 1 minute shorts or two of our 1 minute shorts or three of our 1 minute shorts. You know what I'm saying? I mean, 3 minutes, you're going around through some of our catalog of videos we've made so far. And, if you're interested in something we've done, go ahead. I have the link in some of these shorts that we've done. Check out the episode. Um, just go back, watch the episode. Just let us know what you think. Take any feedback, greatly appreciated. So that will just help us in terms of that. And you want to podcast the show, not watch it on YouTube, we are on Spotify, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio. Links for that will be in the description for this video and on our main YouTube page as well. And if you have any email for us, listening3d@gmail.com. And I believe I got all that stuff out of the way. So with that being said, Netta, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. How about you?
I'm good. I'm good. I've had a good week. About to get into spring break here. So that's always going to be fun. So today is a kind of a special episode because we're doing a iconic hip hop act that close to my heart. Definitely my favorite hip hop act of all time, and maybe they're not that close to you. Well, actually, they're closer to you than you actually think because they're your hometown heroes. Because Cleveland is the city where you come from, so run. So with that introduction, you want to get into who we talking about today?
Oh, sure. So I wore my Cleveland shirt today just for them. And so today we'll be talking about Bone Thugs and Harmony, uh, East 1999 Eternal. It was released July 25th, 1995. It was their second studio album and it was certified 4 times platinum. It peaked at number 1 on the R&B and hip hop album charts and number 1 on the Billboard Top 200. It had singles including First of the Month, East 1999, and The Crossroads. There were music videos for all 3 of the singles, plus a music video for Buddha Lovers. And they were guest appearances from Poetic Hustlers and Graveyard Shift.
All right, thank you for that. So not very many guest appearances. Actually, those were some of their Mo Thugs affiliates, which we'll talk about toward the end of the show. So Bone Thugs and Harmony. I'll get into how I came across them. I was just kid, one of the first hip hop acts I ever heard, and I was just blown away because of all the other rap music I was listening to at the time, they were very different. With their harmonizing fast flow. Definitely wasn't hearing anything else like that during its time. I mean, I'm sure there was something else out, but at least on the West Coast, that was the more popular one. With them, hooking up with Easy E and them being on Ruthless Records during that time. I remember the first song I heard from them was First of the Month, and just I was just blown away by them. I had their first 2 albums, this one along with Creeping on a Come Up um, on cassette tape, and then eventually CD as well. So, um, oh yeah, I actually do have I think I have a CD right here. Hold on. Yeah, I forgot to come prepared, but yeah. I actually do have them on vinyl also, but it'd be too much for me to go look for the vinyl right now. So came unprepared with the props, but I do have that vinyl VMP, yeah, vinyl me press vinyl. I'll link it in the description if you guys are interested. But um, so I mean, definitely, first concert I ever went to featured Bone Thugs and Harmony. Just listened to them over the years. When they were popular, and even as they, drifted out of the whole non-popular. Obviously, they're not in their prime anymore, but I still keep up with them and their affiliates in terms of what they do. How about you? Do you have any experience with Bone Thugs? I mean, they are your hometown heroes, so.
When I was a kid, I never even realized they were from Cleveland, but I do have a distinct memory that came rushing back when I was watching these videos of when Uncle Charles' eyes went black.
Oh
That scared
God.
the crap out of me when I was a kid. It kind of looks kind of like not even scary at all. But I remember being so scared. Another memory I have is a more recent memory. In 2016, I went to a Cavs playoff game, round two versus the Hawks. We
Hmm.
destroyed them in that game. We swept the series and then went on to make the greatest comeback in NBA history. But I digress. At that round two playoff game, the Bone Thugs and Harmony performed at halftime. So it was pretty cool to see like everyone from all different walks of life just like be excited to see them because I just didn't even know they were there. They was just like Bone Thugs and Harmony. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So they just started performing, and it was cool.
Yeah, I'm a Clippers fan, and they performed halftime at their shows as well. And I know recently they actually performed at a Raiders halftime show. So, I mean, they've been getting out there. They
Oh,
they they do get around, and they are touring right now. So anywhere you want to see them, more than likely, hey, if we ever meet up one of these days, we gotta check them out.
yeah.
So a little bit about Bone Thugs and Harmony. Consists of 5 members: Crazy Bone, Lazy Bone, Busy Bone, Wishbone, and Flesh and Bone. Yes, that is 5 members for the most part. They originally started out as a group called the Band Aid Boys. Between that time, I'm not sure when they changed their name to Bone Enterprise, and they recorded a album under that name too called Faces of Death. In 1993, they went to LA, trying to get over to Ruthless Records, Eazy-E, to get signed with them. Eventually, they had to go back to Cleveland when they heard that he was performing there. Eventually, they got him on the phone, and then eventually, the rest was history from there. Easy made arrangements for them to come back to LA, and then they started recording their debut EP album, The Faces of Death. Um, with the name Bone Enterprise, Easy originally wanted to rename the group Thugs and Harmony, but the group wanted to keep Bone in the name, hence, Bones at the end of each of their names or their stage names. So Bone Thugs and Harmony, and I think that sounds better than just Thugs and Harmony, and much better than Bone Enterprise. So that's a little history behind them.
And 1,000 times better than Band Aid Boys.
Yeah. Bone Enterprise is better than Band Aid Boys. So so if you are watching this episode, yes, we did our homework. Well, I'm a big fan of the group, so uh, all right. So let's get into the album artwork. What are your thoughts on it? Did it look like the streets of Cleveland? I mean, I know you grew up in Cleveland, so you probably could identify it better than I could.
Well, thankfully, this doesn't look like the streets of Cleveland to me. I mean, there's a lot of death and destruction behind them. Um, I noticed like there's only four of them. Is the Flesh and Bone guy the guy that's not there?
Yeah, you guessed it. Yeah, Flesh and Bone. He only appeared on I think 7 tracks on this album. Yeah, he didn't have a contract with Ruthless at the time, so I know he was coming in and out in terms of what songs they can get him on, what songs they couldn't get him on. So yeah, that's what was the situation there. So it was just pretty much from left to right: Lazy Bone, Busy Bone, Wishbone, and Crazy Bone. It's them. Obviously their iconic logo, East 1999 Eternal. I like how it goes East 1999 and then Eternal goes like the diagonal way.
A diagonal.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
And then if you look at that building on the left, you have to look real close. And one of the windows is Easy E. I mean,
Oh.
yeah, it's kind of hard to see, but I actually didn't find that out till like recently, to tell you the truth. But I thought that was kind of like, oh wow, that was Easy E the whole time. Like, so I thought that was pretty
Well,
cool.
my understanding was that the eternal part was a dedication to him as well.
I believe it was. I mean, I could be wrong. I know. We're gonna get into where they may have got the idea for Eternal, because I think it was pretty interesting. Um, Speaking of going back to guest appearances for a minute, Easy E was supposed to make an appearance on this album. Also, he was supposed to be on the song "Mr. Bill Collector," but I'm not sure if it was archive footage that just didn't get used. I mean, I think you can find it on YouTube somewhere today if you want to listen to it. And so he's been on a few songs with them, "For the Love of Money," and then a few of their other tracks that they've put on compilations throughout the years. So um, yeah, Easy E, R.I.P. You know, we talked about him and his album Easy Does It, episode number 7. If you guys want to go back, I'll link that in the description also. All right. No.
Yeah, so he died. Easy E dies March 1995, and the album released July
Yeah.
1995. And I was watching an interview of Busy Bone, and he said Easy told them, "You guys are going to be the greatest rap group ever."
Yeah.
So I guess they really brought it into fruition.
Yeah. I mean, they're the greatest in my eyes. Maybe not in other people's eyes, but I mean, I think they should be on any true hip hop fans top 10. I mean, if you know, go up and down. I mean, definitely Wu Tang is up there also. Some would say Outkast, but I consider them a duo. This is a group. So I mean, but yeah, definitely. So beats. This was a very well produced album. I know it's a lot of dark beats. Hopefully the beats didn't scare you too much, Netta. But which ones were your favorite?
I liked Mr. Bill Collector and Land of the Heartless, but I landed on No Shorts, No Losses. That was my favorite one.
That was your favorite beat? Oh
Um,
my god, really? Okay.
what about you?
First of the Month, I think, was a great beat. I also love the beat to East 1999 and Eternal and Mo Murder. Those were also some good beats, also, or in terms of runner ups. So, you know, they're definitely great beats. DJ Unique, their producer at the time, did a very good job, and he was able to mesh, you know, his style of making dark beats with, you know, their flows, and I think that's what makes this album flow very well together. So, um, all right. So singles. Actually, before we talk singles, let's talk. I guess the music video wasn't a single. "Buddha Lovers." What were your thoughts on that song?
I really liked it. It felt like almost like a romantic love song to Buddha. It sounded like a old school love song, but they're just like Buddha lover. I thought it was pretty cool. I wasn't sure if it was meant to be funny, but I just found it funny the way they're talking about weed in such a romantic way.
Yeah, it definitely did have that comedy aspect to it. You know, the beat I think was very well done, and I think it's one of the best songs where you just hear them harmonizing together. You know, they didn't really like drop like a rap verse in there or anything. So I thought that was pretty cool. Um, the music video I thought was a little funny though, especially with the dude chasing him and with the squirt gun with the dude and the chick at the bus stop. I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah,
Yeah, that was funny.
definitely a funny music video. I wish I'd seen it more on the rotation on MTV growing up, but hey, you know, that's what the old MTV Raps is for, I guess. Any thoughts on the music video for that one?
It was pretty good. It felt like they were like the Gangsta Temptations or something, just all standing around singing and pulling up in the smoke filled car. That was funny to me too. So
Yeah,
it was pretty good.
yeah, very creative music video. Um, First of the month. This was the first song I ever really heard. I think it was either this one or For the Love of Money, which was on the previous albums. But first of the month, definitely a good song. Talking about being on welfare, all that stuff. First and the 15th. Just says a lot, but definitely a catchy beat too. I mean, I think of all the beats on the album, I think it was maybe the least dark of all of them. Maybe I don't know. I could be wrong, but definitely I love how they put together the four verses. In terms of just putting the song together. One of my probably my favorite song from Bone Thugs and Harmony. Spoiler alert, but that
Mm.
never get tired of hearing it, and it's just one of those songs. It's like if you go to a Bone show, you know that you're guaranteed to hear this song straight up. Any thoughts on first of the month?
Yeah, I really liked it. It was pretty nostalgic. When I was watching an interview of Busy Bone, he said because the song was so focused around like welfare, he said we didn't know if it was going to go past welfare because a lot of people on the first of the month are worried about bills. But I thought it was very relatable because it's just like I don't care who you are, what culture you're from, or even what era in human history you're from. Everybody loves payday.
Yeah,
So I thought it was pretty cool. Like in the video, they're riding around with their hair blowing in the wind, and that's what payday feel like. So
yeah.
it was pretty good.
Yeah, kind of the part where speaking of payday and money, you definitely see the white dude in the video where it's like he throws money down to the homeless dude. I thought that was kind of like,
And
and
then
then
he sweeps them.
yeah, and then him riding in them in the lowrider riding in that car, Crazy Bone all laid up on the lowrider or whatever car they were riding in.
Yeah, yeah, it was good.
Yeah, yeah, definitely a unique music video. I would have to say between this one and Buddha Lovers, I think Buddha Lovers was a little funnier, but at least it didn't go with the black and white stuff, during that time. Like I
Thank
gotta,
goodness I didn't
yeah,
go there.
yeah. I always gotta bring that up. East 1999, another single off the album. What were your thoughts on this song here?
This is honestly this is my least favorite single.
Okay,
It
fair
was
enough.
okay though. It wasn't horrible, but it was just my least favorite. The video was interesting. They have like whoever's rapping levitating with
Mm.
fire. It was okay. What did you think?
I think the music video was very well done. I know the next song we're going to talk about, they put it together a tribute for Easy. You also see images of Easy E through this music video as well, like in the lab they're doing. And I mean, I thought it was definitely if the music video definitely fit the beat and the darkness they're talking about. But one of the iconic lines from this song that you've heard probably a million times, Cleveland is the city where we come from, so run, run. So, definitely, yeah. So, I mean, I think that really, really stands out to me there. I do like how they, just rap, their five verses. It pretty interesting how they didn't have like a main chorus until like the end of the song, but I think that's what makes the song unique, and I think that's what makes them unique. Is it's just not you're not gonna get the whole boring verse chorus verse. I mean, kind of
Yeah,
you like to see them mix it up a little bit, and I think they do it very well with the song because it could have been just a verse chorus song, but not to say that all their verse
yeah.
chorus songs are bad, but I mean, some of them are actually really
They're
good, but I mean, this one I think was really unique.
they're definitely very versatile.
Yeah, they definitely feed well off one another. All right, and now their most iconic song that probably shot them the popularity in terms of the Billboard, not only just in the hip hop realm, but in the whole music realm in general, and that is the Crossroads. Um, you hear a song like this. I mean, it definitely makes you think about the loved ones you lost over the years, and that's it's tough. I mean, listen to a song like this, but I mean, it's a good song. Definitely a great beat, and just people be playing this song, at their funerals for their loved ones, and good song. I mean, it pretty much dedicates it to their friend Wally, Easy E, and Wishbone's Uncle Charles. So I mean, and then pretty much it's usually the last song they do at most of their no, most all of their shows, and they also dedicate it to Tupac and Biggie and anyone else who's lost a loved one that they're really close to. So great song. It's definitely it's a song that never gets old, at least in my opinion. What you got? Any thoughts on Crossroads?
Yeah, I have to agree. It doesn't get old. I love the concept of Crossroads, that place where you kind of meet and say your final goodbyes
Hmm.
to your loved ones before they part and go their separate ways. He says, or one of them say, "Now follow me, roll, stroll, whether it's hell or heaven." So it's like
Oh,
I don't care where you're gonna go,
that was
but
Crazy Bone, but yeah. Oh,
okay, he says, I don't care really where you're going after this, but we
mm,
got to meet at these crossroads before you go. I also liked my favorite part is when he says, "Living in a hateful world, sending me straight to heaven," because it's just
yeah,
so ironic. Like this world is so hateful that it's kind of sending you to a place of eternal joy. And the question that he asks, can anybody tell me why we die? I don't want to die. It's just like, yeah, this is like the ultimate questions that need answers. It's like the existential crisis that any conscious being is gonna consider. So I really liked it. I thought it was a beautiful song.
yeah, very beautiful song. Yeah, living in a hateful world, sending me straight to heaven. That's how we roll. That was Lazy Bone who sang that part. Um, yeah. So and then before I forget the music video. I was actually watching it the other day when preparing for this episode, and didn't really give me the creeps back then, but for some weird reason, it just gives me the creeps now. Like I don't know what it is, but you know what they say: the older you get, the easier it is hard to handle death, and it just I don't know, just especially the part with that baby, and then the mom at the beginning with the soul guy or whatever taking the guy from the grave. That was kind of hard to look at in terms of in terms of watching the music video. It's not. I mean, it's a good, very well done video, but like if I'm gonna sit down and watch some music videos, I mean, I'll listen to the song, but I'm not watching that music video.
Yeah, it was pretty dark. I thought, like, is this the Grim Reaper? I guess it got a little hopeful at the end because that guy who's showing up and taking all of the souls, he turns into like an angel at the end at the top of the mountain. So it was kind of hopeful there at the end, but yeah, it was, very, very dark, but
Yeah,
it's one of those things everybody deals with, like losing somebody. And yeah, I think it is harder as you get older because, you just really been through it by that point. But yeah, and you see the ghost of Easy E
yeah. Well,
in a video
yeah, it
too.
was one of images from one of his previous music videos, but yeah, I mean, but you do see him. He was there, and then at the end, you see him like with the angel at the end, like in the sky, like we miss you. I mean, it was a
Yeah.
good song, good dedication to Easy E. They definitely gave him what he deserved, in terms of dedication and very very well done song. I mean, RP to anyone who's lost anyone, RP, to Easy E. All right, so let's get into our favorites. So I'm a little curious about what your favorites are. What are your favorite songs from this album?
Uh, the Crossroads, of course, first of the month, and Down 71.
Okay, that was an interesting song. I actually do like that song. For me, it was we did have one single in common, first of the month, which I already kind of gave away. Second one I went with was, even though I don't really smoke weed, Buddha Lovers. I think it was just,
Understandable.
yeah. And then the third one I'm going with is Mo Murda. Honorable mentions of East 1999, the song Eternal, and Crept and We Came. Those were my honorable mentions. If I'm not sure if you had any, but
Um, no, I didn't have any honorable mentions.
oh, that's okay. And then a song I probably could have did without was it did have a good beat. Now that I listen back to the song, but yeah, but not the. I mean, if there was one skip on this whole album, I'd do it's probably No Shorts, No Losses. It did have a
Yeah,
good beat, but
yeah, I didn't like Die Die Die.
okay, that's a lot of people's favorites. But
Yeah.
that I mean that's a good song. I think Crazy and Busy held it down in that song. But all right, so all right, let's get to yours. Down 71. What do you like about that one?
I just like they were telling this very graphic story. It was very interesting. It was almost like I could picture everything they were saying. At the beginning, somebody is sentenced to death by electric chair, and they go back to the beginning of the story, I guess, where they're running from the cops, and he says, "I'm bailing while they trailing, better in hell than in the cell," and then it ain't no telling where them coppers be dwelling. And then when he's running from the cops, he gets caught and he says, "Cops from everywhere was yelling and welling. I was unconscious from the stomping, taking a loss, and waking up in a coffin." And then he says, "The judge knew right where to put that thug." I was like, wow. And then he broke out of jail. One of the members of Bone Thugs are disguised as a preacher, and at the
Yeah,
end they say, "Took one of my niggas off of death row. Now we got one to go." So I thought it was a good song. It just had a lot of imagery, so
yeah,
I
yeah.
liked it.
Yeah, if they did another music video for this album, I think this would definitely be one of the front runners. It does tell, interesting story, Busy Bone, Lazy Bone in a courtroom, him starting off the song. We had to get him up with two thugs running side by side with number one, murder, Mo drop my gauge on him. Yeah, so, I mean, Busy Bone, he just goes too fast. Little Lazy blew his head off. Ah, you hear the guy screaming. That was,
Yeah.
yeah, that was kind of a bit funny. And then Lazy Bone takes over. Billing on a mission, flipping the script. Better check what the wind just blew in. Better think again. It's a preacher with a grin. Yeah, so yeah, so I mean that was pretty cool. And then Crazy kills the last verse also, and then you know. And then the guy screaming St. Clair at the end. St. Clair, St. Clair. They're definitely an interesting song, and not only that, the beat goes hard too. Definitely, nice, great beat with that one. Like I said, very well produced album. Kind of hard to really pick great beats in terms of your favorite, but because at least for me, it can change here. It could be one beat this day, and another beat that day.
Yeah, they were all very complex, interesting beats.
Alright, and then the song I liked, Mo Murda, definitely. Once again, I don't condone murder of any kind, but I think this is just a song. We talked about them, being in the horrorcore. That this definitely was a great song that described, their horrorcore sound during that time. With Crazy Bone starting off the song, "Dear Mr. Ouija, let him know who the boss is, nigga." Yeah, so I mean, definitely starting off with that one. And I also think Wishbone had a great uh, line in this one as well. Um, and I think this one. We straight from Cleveland, clackback nigga, you bleed, and you don't want to fuck with Bone, pulling that chrome out, nigga, you're gone. So I thought that verse one, I thought his verse went hard, but definitely. I think it's a song like this is what really defined what their style was during that time, and it's just a song that never gets old in terms of and even the chorus too. More murder, come again. Any thoughts on More Murder?
I thought it was an interesting angle they took with the Ouija board. I guess telling them what to do when they're asking it for guidance and advice. I thought it was interesting, and Um, but the content wise, I honestly I don't like the murder songs. I don't like it,
Mm,
but
that's fair.
it
That's
was an
fair.
interesting angle they took.
Yeah. That's fair. That's fair. I mean, like I said, I know we go a while back to the 50 Cent episode with that one song that we talked about. I forget the name of it. It's at the top of my head. Oh, Heat, I believe it was. But I mean, if it's a good, entertaining song, I mean, I'll listen to it. But it just doesn't make me want to go out and murder somebody. I mean, it's all to me. It's all entertainment at the end of the day. So, all right. So we talked about our favorite tracks. Okay, so we'll talk album cuts. So Crossroads. So you know that the Crossroads on the album that we listened to was not the original version. I think I did send you the original version. Did you get a chance to listen to it?
um, I don't know. I don't think so.
All right. Well, whenever you get a chance, just go ahead and listen to it. The original version of Crossroad was so the original concept behind Crossroads was it was supposed to just be a dedication to their friend Wally, but after Easy had passed, they felt they needed to remix the song. So on the original pressing was the original version of Crossroad, and I'm saying Crossroad because that was the name of the song. It was actually called Crossroad, not the Crossroads. So pretty interesting song. I mean, I like the song for the most part. It's kind of hard to find, but if you do get the European version, like CD, it will come with that version, and the original pressings also have Crossroad because song The Crossroads didn't come out till '96, and that's when they reissued the albums with that song. So they didn't. Um, so they had taken the original Crossroad off, but the original Crossroad can be found on the European version, which adds that song in as a bonus, and then it could also be found on their first collection compilation album. So it's a pretty
Is it a lot? I'm sorry. Is it a lot different than the other one, or is the chorus the same, or
no,
how different is it?
it's a different song, different beat. They sampled the beat from a video game actually called Eternal Champion. I think that's where they got
Mm.
the name Eternal from. And speaking of Eternal and the song Eternal, they also got that beat for the song Eternal from the same video game Eternal Champion, which was a
Hmm.
video game on the Sega Genesis. It was actually a pretty hard fighting game, to tell you the truth. And if you do listen to the original version of Crossroad, yeah, they sampled that bad ending, which I think a lot of people went through a lot because from what I was told, the game was very hard. So I can send you some of the samples later. I thought it was pretty creative, so I had to throw video games in there somehow. But yeah, if you have an original pressing of Bone Thugs and Harmony East 1990 Eternal, then you'll know the original Crossroad, and it's also on their Collection Volume One CD as well. So unfortunately, it's not on streaming services, so you'll have to kind of look around for it. I believe the instrumental is though. You just gotta really look for it. So that was in terms of like cuts. So there's just that song there. So anyway, recommendations. We'll get into the recommendations. 3 6 Mafia, Mystic Styles. They had a versus with 3 6 Mafia a while back, so I figured why not just throw them in there. I will say this: I do think 3 6 Mafia won that versus battle, even though in the end it really didn't seem like much of a competition. The other recommendations I'll get into is Mo Thugs Family Scriptures. That was the group that they would go on to produce later on. Family Scriptures is a very good album where them and a bunch of guys that came up with them from Cleveland. A big compilation album. Very good to listen to this day. So if you liked a lot what you heard here, especially the last song with those guys, Poetic Justice and or no Poetic Hustle, excuse me, and Graveyard Shift, definitely check that out. And then the last recommendation I will get into is Flesh and Bone. He was actually the first member to put out a solo CD of all the members which was called Thugs, Truths, Humbling, United, Gathering Souls, which was put out on Def Jam Records. So if you want to hear more Flesh and Bone, I know he wasn't on the album too much, but he was the first one to have his own solo. Definitely check that one out. And then just all of Bone Thugs catalog, I would highly recommend if you like this album. Definitely they have a lot of music over the years, a lot of group albums, solo albums, you name it. Um, Definitely check it out. Any questions about the recommendations, Netta?
Mm-mm.
All right. So closing thoughts on this album. What are you taking back to your playlist, and would you recommend?
Um, yeah, I would recommend it. I thought sonically the album was very good. The fast rapping, the singing, the harmonizing. I did feel like it was extremely dark. Like they seemed like they were just as preoccupied with murder as they were with like death. And
Mm,
it really, I don't know, it's not something I could listen to all the time, but I see the artistic value in it. But besides being dark, it was also kind of hopeful. They show love to each other. They show love to Easy E, who gave them their first shot, and they show love to everyone else who they miss in their lives, and even to Buddha. So it was a pretty good album, and I'll be taking back Down 71.
okay. Well, at least you're taking something back from this album. Down 71, The Getaway.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean
for
the other songs the Crossroads and First of the Month I already knew, so I really love those, but
okay.
Down 71, I never heard that before, but I'll take it back.
All right, definitely. I know for me, well, I mean, they're in my everyday rotation, so as far as I'm concerned, all these songs are coming back with me to the playlist. Even No Shorts, No Losses, even though that was my least favorite song on the whole album. But yeah, it's a great album. I listen to it, from time to time. Um, yeah, and honestly, thank you for reviewing this album with me. Hopefully, we do another Bone Thugs album real soon. All right. So now that you heard from us, what were your favorite tracks? What did you like? What did you not like? Did we get everything right? Let us know in the comments. For Netta, I'm Justin saying so long. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. We will see you on the next one. Later.